Shabbat Shalom and welcome. It's good to see you all this lovely morning of Labor Day weekend. Is that
That's right,
Labor Day weekend. It's already here. It'll be gone before we realize.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I'm joined this morning by Leslie Zucker and our wonderful technical team. If you're watching us on any of our platforms and you have a way to type where you're watching from, I sometimes forget to ask you to do that, but it'd be good to know, just for fun.
It's fun, yeah.
And just a reminder that we call all the pages numbers in the brackets, square brackets. And finally, please make sure that all your electronic devices are turned off, mute, airplane, however you do that. This morning, we will have a service later on. It will be our Torah service. We'll be reading Haftarah. And so all you need is the regular prayer book, and then you may need the Chumash, the red book that sometimes is in front of you. And if you see it in front of another pew, you can just grab it from wherever you see it. I cannot see them from here. Right? I'm looking at I don't see any.
Oh, all the ones from the front.
Oh, sometimes the front has.
Yep.
But there's nothing there. So, but they are there, and we'll tell you where to look later. We welcome this morning together on page 186. What? 86. So we sing Mode Ani.
Mode Ani lefaneh
וחמלה רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך מודה אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי וחמלה וחמלה רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך רבה אמונתך. We join together on page 195 at the top of the page in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware we would lack this strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofe chol basar umafli la'asot. Page 196.
Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi, tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi.
Page 198, we join together in offering blessings for our daily miracles. We try to do them alternating and try each one of the blessings with one breath. We alternate so we don't have to breathe in between. Well, we breathe in between. We never stop breathing. I'm just saying that we don't.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lesech v'bina lehavchin ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivri.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir hasurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hametzir mitzadei gavel.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish harumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir sheina meinai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tif'ara.
Amen.
We continue on page 212 with Pezukei de Zimra, verses of praise. And the first one starts at the top with the words Baruch She'amar.
Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Oseh v'reshit, Baruch Omer ve'oseh.
Baruch Gozer Mechayim, Baruch Merachem al haaretz.
Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireav.
Baruch Hailad v'kayam lanetzach,
Baruch podeh umatzil, Baruch Shemo. Page 218. This is Psalm 150. We're singing together the closing lines of this last psalm, which is also the last psalm in the collection of psalms, in the book of Psalms.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, v'tilzelei shamayim. Hallelujah, hallelujah, v'tilzelei teruah. Kol neshama te'aleyah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, kol neshama te'aleyah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Page 226. Our service continues with Baruch. If you're able, please stand and join us.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
High Holiday Melodies.
High holidays around the
I know.
corner. We continue together on page 228, beginning with the words Or Chadash. Is towards the bottom of the Hebrew there.
Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir. Al Tzion Ta'ir. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir. Al Tzion Ta'ir. V'nizkeh kulanu
Page 230 at the top of the page.
Ahava Rabba, Ahavtanu, Ahavtanu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola, V'tera, Chamat Aleinu, Ahava Rabba, Ahavtanu, Ahavtanu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Chemla Gedola, V'tera, Chamat Aleinu, Bavur Avoteinu, Ve'imotenu shebachu bech, ותלמדם חוקי חיים, כן תכוננו ותלמדנו, כן תכוננו ותלמדנו. אהבה רבה, אהבתנו, אהבתנו, אדוני, אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה, ויתרה, חמת עלינו. ברוך אתה, אדוני, הבוחר בעמו, ישראל באהבה.
Page 232, we are continuing with the Shema, which is want to share with you that this is also the high holiday melody, which we get to do a few weeks of the year. We start today is the first Shabbat of the last month, Elul.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vahed.
You may be seated. Ve'ahavta is on page 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לעולכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Emet. We join together on page 239 in the middle of the page. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your neighbor, brother, or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessings. Mi Chamocha is on page 240. And again, we're doing the High Holiday melody.
A little more well-known than the Shemos,
I think so.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei felem. Shira chadesha shibichu gilim, לשמחה שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדהינו מכה, יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גוי ישראל. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii Geulah livnei bneihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Hoseh u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Zrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
Page 248 in the middle of the page. Let us sanctify your name on earth, as it is sanctified in the heavens above, as it is written by your prophet, Holy, holy, holy is Adonai Tzvaot. God's presence fills the whole earth. Source of our strength, sovereign one, how majestic is your presence in all the earth. Blessed is the presence of God shining forth from God's well. God alone is our God and our Creator, our ruler and our helper. And in mercy, God is revealed in the sight of all the living. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai shall reign forever. Your God, O Zion, from generation to generation. Hallelujah.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד קולך. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד קולך.
ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Our Amidah continues silently through page 260. You may return to your seats when you conclude.
שים שלום טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. ברכנו יוצאנו יוצאנו, ברכנו יוצאנו יוצאנו, כולנו כאחד כאחד, באור פניך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך. שים שלום טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, עמך.
Service continues on page 367. Service for the reading of the Torah. Romemu.
רוממו
Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodesho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu to, oh, there it is. We are reading from the Haftarah this morning. Last night, we did our service from the Torah, and I hope you were able to join us in the many ways in which we do that. But today, we're reading the Haftarah. Let me give you a second here. I think I mentioned last time that for the next few weeks, it's about another 6-7 weeks to the Shabbat after Rosh Hashanah. Every one of the Torah portions continues, except the Haftarah has nothing to do with the Torah portion. I mean, it has to do, it's Jewish, it comes from the Hebrew Bible, but it really doesn't connect to the Torah portion directly, but it connects to the calendar. In the weeks after Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Ab, that commemorates the destruction of the first and second temples, we begin a series of Haftarot that are called about the next 5 weeks left will be all about consolation. And the one today, I always say this, I'm going to say it again, is a very famous Haftarah. But indeed it is. And we can do this with just about every section in the Haftarot during the year, but not as clearly as you can with this. Now, let me preface what I'm going to say by saying something else. Never a good sign from a clergy, but either way. Before I say anything, let me say, the Torah, of course, is read annually. And if we were to read the entire Torah portion, we will complete the entire reading of the Torah portion, of the Torah from beginning of Genesis to the end of Deuteronomy. But the books of the prophets from which the Haftarot are taken, we never read the whole thing. In other words, in the Hebrew Bible, that's the second partition of 3, and that includes all the prophetic books, but includes also books like Judges and Joshua, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd King, which are not books specific of a prophet like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and the other 14 minor prophets, as they're called. So it's impossible. We could never read the whole thing, even if we weren't doing what we do, which is just read a section. If we read the whole thing, we're still not going to read them all. So what actually happens in Jewish culture is that the parashiot that have Haftarah, that specific Haftarah, is pretty much either a highlight or those are the only verses that anybody ever hears. In other words, when you say to someone, oh, they know the Hebrew Bible by heart, they may, but they usually mean that they know the Haftarot because they are read every year in synagogues around the world for centuries now. The opening words of this week's Haftarah, chapter 52, not the openings, but the next chapter, I'll read them for you in Hebrew. I'm just going to read like 6-7 words. And it's a quiz, so if you get it, you get to park in my spot for a month. I don't have a parking spot. But it's nice to be able to say that. It's Uri, libshi bigdei tifartech, hit na'ari me'afar kumi. You will know because we're in the tray, but anybody else knows where we sing those words? Again, Uri, livshi bigdei tifartech, it na'ari me'afar kumi. No? All right, well, should we sing it? Uri, shir daberi. No, what is that? There you go. So, Lechadodi. So there's one stanza in Lechadodi. The poet lived in the 16th century. His name was Shlomo El Kabetz. And he knew his Haftorah, but that particular verse in the Chadodi is addressed to the city of Jerusalem. Arise, for your time has come. Ina'ari me'afar kumi, awaken, come out, arise from the dust. It could be addressed to Jerusalem. It could also be addressed, because the whole poem of Lechadodi is addressed to a bride, right, that comes into Shabbat. So those two things work together. But that particular stanza, and we can look at other stanzas based on different chapters, that one is based on chapter 52 of the book of Isaiah, with the connotation, of course, that this is also about Jerusalem, and it's also about the return to Zion. The period that comes after second Isaiah, which is what we're reading today, is what we call in Hebrew Shivat Zion, the return to Zion. And this is going to play a big role in the connection between the cycle of Haftarot and the specific Haftarah that we're reading, the section from chapter 52. That's one song. There's actually another song in this Torah portion, and Leslie and I were talking about this earlier. And you might have heard it, or might have read it before. The words are in Hebrew, in English are, how welcome on the mountain are the footsteps of the herald, announcing happiness, heralding good fortune, announcing victory, the coming of redemption. And the words are, Ma navu el heharim, raglei mevaser, mashmiya shalom, mevaser tov, mashmiya Yeshua. And the melody goes like, Ma navu el heharim, raglei mevaser, Ma navu. You might have heard it somewhere. It's a dance also, a rikud from Israel. So, but excuse me. This is really part of the Haftarot of consolation, part of the the marking of Tisha B'Av includes the reading of the book of Lamentations. And in the book of Lamentations, we read, Far from me is my comforter, this is Jerusalem speaking, who might revive my spirit? My children are forlorn, for foe has prevailed. And the answer comes in many different sections. In chapter 52, the answer from God is a very well-known phrase from other stories, and it's the word hineni. Now, in the story of Abraham, you may remember, Abraham says hineni several times. Most important mention is during the reading of the Akedah, the sacrifice of Isaac, or the almost sacrifice of Isaac, when God calls upon Abraham, and Abraham says, hineni. But who says hineni in this week's Haftarah portion? Not the people, not Jerusalem, but the hineni is actually God. God says, I'm hineni, I'm here to comfort you, as almost we think, and this is what probably the rabbi's thinking was, in response to that verse that I just read from the book of Lamentations. Have you forgotten me? And God says, hineni, I'm here. The section that we're reading ends with a very interesting connection that you know it from the Passover Haggadah. But if you don't remember the Haggadah by heart, let me help you. In the Haggadah, during the first night of Passover, we talk about leaving Egypt in a hurry. Vechizayon is the Hebrew word. Now, it's a very strange Hebrew word, trust me. A lot of Hebrew words have more than 2 syllables. They are rare. And this one is like a lot. Chizayon. It has lots of letters in it. And it means to leave a place in a flight, right? Fleeing from somewhere. And that is the basis for what practice during Pesach? Why do we eat what we eat? Because we left in the matzah, right? You all know that pretty much. This is it's not all of you, but it's kind of a common thought. Now, what you may not know is that the word chizayon appears only twice in the entire Torah. Once in the story of the Exodus, one in Deuteronomy, and then appears the third time in this week's Torah portion. Actually, I'm sorry, in this week's Haftorah portion in the book of Isaiah. And Isaiah says, where it is? Ki lo v'chizayon tetzeu uvimenusa lo telechu, which translates as, you will not depart in haste, nor will you leave in flight. And what Isaiah is actually, this is an interpretation, all right? So Isaiah is interpreting a section from the Torah, and he's saying the word chizayon there meant that you left really in a hurry. Here, you're going to have time. There's going to be a second liberation, which is the liberation from Assyria back to Zion, to Jerusalem. But that one, you're going to get a chance to take it easy. A lot of them commentators will say, that the Exodus from Egypt is really the example of Exodus everywhere. Like every time a people is leaving and they're liberated, it's like the deliverance from Egypt. Isaiah is thinking it's slightly different. Isaiah's idea is that redemption will come, but it will come not as fleeing from a place, but something that you are willing to do. And the reason is, I think, that in Babylon, the Jewish people, although we were in exile, it wasn't really bad. We were not slaves. You never heard about it. We were slaves in Babylon. No, have you heard that? We were slaves. We built the ziggurats no, we didn't. Nothing really, quote unquote, bad happened to the Jews in Babylon. They were just in exile. That was the style of the empires in those days. They will take people, especially the leadership, they will uproot them so they were able to conquer the place, in this case, the land of Israel, easier because they didn't have any leadership left. So for this second redemption, Isaiah has to convince the people, I think, to go back. And the way he does it is says, well, you all know the story of Egypt. This time it's going to be a little easier. You're going to get time to actually, collect your things, maybe bring some money with you, and go slowly back to Zion. We're talking about 300-400 years later, but eventually it does happen. So this is just to show you how sometimes things change, and people do change. And what it was felt as an immediacy first in Egypt is no longer felt that way. And Isaiah knew that, so he had to kind of convince the people, yeah, you're going to go back to Zion, but lo v'chizayon. This time, you're going to get a little time. And in that way, that's indeed what happened. The people did go back to Zion. But as you may know, not everybody left. And as a matter of fact, that's the beginning of what would become the center of Jewish learning for the following 700 years, which is Babylon. That's where the Talmud was composed and all that. So we never went back to Egypt, right? Egypt will never became a home for us again. But Babylon did, to the point that it really overtook the land of Israel for about 700 years or so as the center of Judaism. So yes, history does repeat itself a little bit, but not quite the same. This time they had time. So if you are following the reading in the Chumash, it is found on page 1609. We are reading from the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah, chapter 52, verses 1 through 12. And if you would like to join me, on page 372, we'll recite the Haftarah blessings first together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'neviim tovim beratza v'divreihem anemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. אורי אורי לבשי עוזך ציון, לבשי בגדי תפארת, ירושלים עיר הקודש, כי לא יוסיפו יבוא בך עוד ערל וטמא. עדנרי מעפר קומי שבי ירושלים. עיד פתחי מוסרי צווארך, שביעה בת ציון. Awake, awake, O Zion, clothe yourself in splendor, put on your robes of majesty, Jerusalem, holy city. For the uncircumcised and the unclean shall never enter you again. Arise, shake off the dust, sit on your throne, Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive one, fair Zion. For thus said Adonai, you were sold for no price, and shall be redeemed without money. For thus said Adonai, God, of old my people went down to Egypt and sojourned there, but Assyria has robbed them, giving nothing in return. What therefore do I gain here, declares Adonai? My people has been carried off for nothing. Their mockers howl, declares Adonai, and constantly, unceasingly, my name is reviled. Assuredly, my people shall learn my name. Assuredly, they shall learn on that day that I, the one who promised, am now at hand. How welcome on the mountain are the footsteps of the herald, announcing happiness, heralding good fortune, announcing victory, telling Zion, your God is king. Hark, you watchmen, raise your voices. As one they shout for joy, for every eye shall behold Adonai's return to Zion. Rise, shout together, O ruins of Jerusalem, for Adonai will come for his people, will redeem Jerusalem. Adonai will bear God's holy arm in the sight of all the nations, and the very ends of the earth shall see the victory of our God. Turn away, touch not unclean, as you depart from there. Keep pure as you go forth from there. You who bear the vessels of Adonai, for you will not depart in haste, nor will you leave in flight. For the Lord is marching before you. The God of Israel is your rear guard. Blessings after the Haftarah are back on the Siddur on page 372. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, צור כל העולמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, הילה נאמן האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. As we gather on this Shabbat, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing. For those of you online, you can find the list right there, and you can also post names on the comments in Facebook Live. And for those here in person, you're invited to mention names out loud. Anybody? As we think of those in need of healing, page 371, we join together in the Mi Sheberach prayer.
Ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
As we think of those in need of healing, we add a special prayer for those suffering from addiction and mental health struggles. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. Our service for the reading of the Torah concludes on page 374 with Etz Chaim.
Etz Chaim hi lamachazikim ma v'tomacheh me'ushar teracheh darkei noam v'chol netivoteh Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashova, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu,
We continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's on page 586. If you're able, please stand and join us.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, Latet Gedula Le'otzei Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpachot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim Umishtakavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Machei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Our thoughts turn to our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us and those who have died in this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circle of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. As a congregation, we remember the following yortzites: Pearl Bayer, Susan Dayan Shokrun, Anne Dubrav, Ron Greenbaum, Joseph Hamovitz, Ira Kirsch, Seaman Kucherovsky, Ray Lewis, Mary Stitch Lilly, Philip Lustig, Harold Meyer, Henry Osman, John Pavlov, Richard Rosenfeld, Yakov Schuklapper, Bertha Spector, Philip Speisman, Lois Cram-Turner, Mark Weingarten, Sharon Haith Weinstein, Robert Zapula. If you are observing your side for anybody today that we didn't mention, same online if you'd like to type a name. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Together as a congregation, we'll rise on page 598 for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Excuse me. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביעלמה דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דע אמירם בלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו Amen.
It's time for some announcements.
This is Aviva's song. The announcements aren't coming, they won't take too long. If you want to do some Jewish, she won't steer you wrong. This is Aviva's song.
Shabbat Shalom. I made the comment last night also that it's just great to be back, and it really is different being in person. So join us in person. I had to be home for 2 weeks, and now very glad to be back. Okay, so thank you very much to Rabbi Katapon and Leslie Zucker for leading this service. Thank you to Dave for being here at all times. It's really remarkable, the commitment that you have to enabling everyone to join us every single time. A few quick announcements. Our next service is next Friday night, September 9th, when we will be outdoors, weather permitting, installing our board and launching our small groups. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a really big night, 6:30 like normal, but outdoors. Before then, a few things going on. Tomorrow, everyone is welcome to join Scott Franklin at the Mitzvah Garden, which is our community garden, 8 a.m. until 12 p.m., preparing the garden for the fall harvest. So join him over there. Send him a quick email today just to let him know that you're planning to join, but it will be great. And then just a few quick things. On Thursday, we have Lunch and Learn. So if you would like to both be lunching and learning with Rabbi Katapon, it's only in person. So join us in the library. And our Rosh Hashanah gift deliveries begin on Thursday. So if you're interested in delivering or being a runner with a driver, let me know, because we're still looking for more people. And the High Holy Days are around the corner, so check online, a lot going on, including tickets. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Aviva. We conclude our time together on page 662, singing Hashivenu. If you're able, please stand and join us.
Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha, Ben Ashuva, Ben Ashuva, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekelim. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha, Ben Ashuva, Ben Ashuva, Kadesh, Kadesh, Yameinu Kekelim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Take care of each other out there.